Hello, good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful Friday evening, and I am excited to be with you on this special broadcast of Government TV. And today we're looking at relationship and marriage. Relationship and marriage is our focus for this Friday night. And I believe that you are primed up for a time of enlightenment, of empowerment, of energizing your knowledge stream so that you are the best and the better for it. Okay. Solid foundation for relationship towards marriage is our conversation and our discussion topic for tonight. And I believe that you are going to have a very exciting time this evening. And so, if you're joining us from any part of the world, wherever you're joining us from, I'd like for you to do me a favor, indicate exactly where you're watching from. And if you're getting us live and clear, the audio quality, the video quality, I just like to know that the broadcast is coming to you clear, from our end, so that we do not sound like people on the high sea screaming ahoy, ahoy, and then we are not getting heard or seen. So it's important that you give us that feedback. It's a beautiful evening here from our studios in Kano, and I believe that you had a beautiful, fulfilled, and fruitful week going into this weekend. I am so excited each time I bring this broadcast to you. It is a joy to be an information merchant. It is a joy to be one who distributes value adding information. And so tonight it's Gumnet TV's relationship and marriage broadcast, and we are talking about solid foundation for relationship towards marriage. So wherever you're joining us from, let's have your feedback where you're joining us from, and as the conversation go on, be free to put up your learning points, and then we will ensure that it is also displayed for others to see. Whether you're joining us from YouTube or from Facebook, we will be able to see your comment right here, and keep, other viewers engaged in the process. And so, as we start out this evening, I have the permission. Yes, I have the permission to play this music track. It's a music video by my friend and brother Favor Johnson, and it is titled Grace and Law. Let's enjoy this before the conversation starts. Don't touch your dial, don't touch your channel, don't switch off. This is going to be a blessing to you.
By strength shall no man prevail. Favor Jones. All of my life I've been made to believe. All of my life I've been made to see. I've been told sin leads to death. I've been told don't come. I've been warned of retribution. I've been told of karma, and that he that sinned would surely die. so I feel sing. I never wanted hell, surely never wanted hell. And so every day I tried not to live in sin. Every day I fought so hard to do what is right. The more I tried, the more I failed. In flesh I tried, in flesh I failed, until Jesus came and said to me, it is by grace, it's not by power. By my love you are free.
Free.
It is by grace, it's not of power. By Jesus we are free.
Free.
The law was obsolete, it could not save Moses, it cannot save you. So God sent Jesus Christ. The law was obsolete, it could not save Moses, it cannot save I. So God sent Jesus Christ. Jesus paid all the price. He was surely crucified. By his blood I'm purified. By his love I'm justified.
It is
By the grace of God we stand here today.
It's by Christ's love we are saved today.
Oh, we are saved today.
It is by grace, it's not by power.
The race is not to the swift,
It's by
neither is the
Christ's
battle
love we are
very
free
strong.
today.
It's not by work, my friend,
It is by grace,
by the grace of
not
God
by power.
I must stand here today.
By Christ's love you are
Justified
free.
by Christ's love, I'm justified.
It is by grace, it's not by power.
The race surely not to the
By
sea,
Jesus you are
neither is
free.
the battle to the very strong. It's not of works, lest any man should boast. By Jesus we are free. The law was obsolete, it could not save Moses, it cannot save you. So God sent Jesus Christ. It is by grace, it's not by power. It's by Christ's love we are free today.
Free.
It is by grace, it's not of power. It's by it is I am here again by your mercy. Lord of mercy. Yeah. All because we are alive. We celebrate, you know. I am grateful. You've been good. You have kept me. Now I walk among the big and the mighty. I have more reasons to celebrate. Celebrate. I'm gonna celebrate. Everybody come on, celebrate. love can be more than this, that you gave your life for one like me. By the stripes you bear, now I am healed. I'm your temple, oh God, and I've got heavens in my heart. Celebrate, I'm gonna celebrate. Let the living join me celebrate. I'm gonna celebrate. Celebrate, everybody come and let us. If you're alive and well, if you can listen to this music, if you're not deaf and dumb, come on out. By now you should be grateful. It is the living that can praise God for His goodness and mercy over your life. Oh, it's a privilege, not a right.
Celebrate by Favor Johnson. Just before then, we had Grace and Love. I am sure that those two uh, songs were a blessing and a source of inspiration for you as we start out this evening on the subject solid foundation for relationship towards marriage. Government chair, and all right. We are having a network glitch, but we will trust that this will pan out well this evening. The network connection from this end is quite weak, but we expect that it will improve as we go on. And so, some, you know, part of this evening, I was watching a movie. As a matter of fact, on the TV right now, the movie is still going on, and I decided to mute it because I had to, meet up with the time of this broadcasts. It's a movie about, a very abusive man who had taken, to beating and abusing and brutalizing his wife, and in the process, the daughter got in the way of the man's violence, and the lady ran out of the house. But the man is such an influential man. He's a movie that is still on. Such an influential man that he had control over some people in the police department in that city. And so wherever she ran to, they would always arrange some rogue policemen who would trail her and you know kind of shake her up, harass her. So she actually didn't have where to run to. And one of the mistakes she made was not reporting to the police officially of his brutalizing and harassing and violent nature. And so at one point, she went to a lawyer who refused to take her case because on a consistent basis she had refused to report to the police and all of that. And this is happening in other crimes. Is a depicting of what happens within the American and Western society, and it goes back to the foundation of their relationship, which led to the marriage. And now she's unable to extricate herself from the situation. The guy is violent, the guy is abusive, but he doesn't want to let her go, and he doesn't want to change. And there are a lot of relationships and marriages at that junction right now. And this broadcast is actually meant to help, make a meaning out of such situation and provide solution in terms of preventive measures, so that those who are in a relationship heading towards marriage will not get themselves caught up in that kind of mess, because it is in it is widespread. It is actually very widespread. It's happening in the city where you are, it's happening around you, if it is not happening to you as a person. And so, how do we have a solid relationship that goes towards a blissful and result oriented marriage? If you know me and what I stand for and what I have taught over the years, I am a proponent of having the right foundation for your relationship and marriage. In fact, for every aspect of life, the right foundation based on the right principle is a panacea for all the challenges that could ever come out of it, this situation. All right. If you want to have a proper business, you need to have a good foundation. If you want to have a proper life, you need to have the right foundation. If you want to have, a life of prosperity and plenty, then you need to have a good education based on, where you're going, so that you have the right body of knowledge that will give you a head start and then an edge with the competition. And so the right foundation is key and primary to every successful life venture, career, and even relationship that heads to marriage. So let's talk about the foundation, because if you want to analyze the problems, they are everywhere. They are widespread. Okay. A lot of people are married today and they are just coping. Okay. A lot of marriages are not happy. A lot of people are not happy in their homes. Okay. And so they are looking for escape routes. I used to tell people that the marriage field is like a besieged city. A besieged city, in the sense that those who are in want to get out. A lot of people want to get out. And those who are out, not knowing what is in, want to get in. Okay, so the door is jammed. Now, as funny as that sounds, it is important to note that every Saturday, especially in Nigeria, where we are, every Saturday, marriages are being contracted. Marriages, people are getting married. Every weekend. This weekend, there are a lot of people going to get married in my city this weekend. Tomorrow is Saturday. Weddings are going to take place all around the city of Kano. And most of the people, maybe more than half of the people who are getting married, don't know what they are getting involved in. They don't even understand what marriage is about. They don't understand what to expect. There is this frenzy going into marriage. We prepare for the wedding and we don't prepare for the life. And so that's where the foundation comes in. Okay. And like I said, I'm a proponent of foundation in every aspect of life. So the question to ask is, why do I want to get married? Or why am I in this relationship? And you can be asking those questions right now. You can be asking yourself those questions right now. Why this man? Why this woman? Why? What is the marriage institution about? Okay. I'll give you an expose. Okay. God instituted marriage, and for the purpose of companionship, complementing yourselves, ensuring that the power of two is exponentially high than the power of one. Two is better than one. And God Himself said it is not good for man to be alone. And so He created male and female, that they may be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. And so one cannot, in all seriousness, produce anything of significance. So marriage is the first institution that God created for the purpose of, establishing His kingdom on the earth with the man and all of creation running the earth. Okay, so from the marriage institution, you have multiplication of people. From the marriage institution, you have society built. Okay, from the marriage, you have people, molded and equipped for the work of life itself. Okay, so there is a reason. Therein lies the reason for marriage. Okay, so for marriage to operate and work well according to the idea and concept and the vision of the creator of marriage, who is God Himself. He gave us a manual. He gave us an operating manual on how marriage should work. A lot of people have no idea what this manual for marriage is. They don't even want generation. We seem to be having this network glitch once in a while, but we will keep skipping it and ensure that this message is passed. Okay. So, from generation to generation, the idea of marriage has been polluted, in fact, with the fall of man. And this is not a religious conversation, this is real life, true, principle based conversation. All right. So, marriage has been polluted by reason of the way the enemy has taken charge to mess up God's program. Okay, so from our forefathers, the idea of marriage was messed up, and so people marry for the wrong reasons. Okay, our forefathers married for labor, cheap labor. Okay, the more women you marry, the more labor you have to work on farms, and so the more children you're able to produce through them. And for them, marriage is not for friendship, it's not for love, it's not for the purpose of companionship in the sense that God spoke about in the scriptures. For them, marriage is for you need you need a slave in the house, for lack of better expression, looking at the way things were done in those days. Okay, and a lot of people have carried on that tradition till today, even though it is now modernized. And so you have somebody who you call your wife, and she has no contribution to how the home is run. There is a command and follow structure. She's not a partner, she's just a tool for you to use to be able to advance whatever your desires are. So for most people, she's simply a sex partner or a cooking and a glorified maid in the house. But that's not God's desire. That's not God's vision for marriage. Okay. And because it is a tradition, people have come to believe that that is the thing. And so any idea of marriage that you want to share with people today, they call it a westernized idea of marriage, but they have refused to understand that there is a way that is right, and what we have practiced over time is wrong. And so if you marry, or you're getting married, or you're in a relationship, and you're on that relationship with the wrong idea of marriage, my dear, you're heading for disaster. Because if you don't use the manual that God has given, there is nothing elsewhere that can make the marriage work well, especially in today's contemporary world where information is everywhere and there is this idea of freedom. And then the women folk are beginning to become more aware, they are more educated, they are more sophisticated, and so there is a sense of rebellion against the tradition of marriage, which makes them look like slaves. Okay, and so they have found a better way, better wrong way, better women liberation way, better freedom right way to correct the wrong. So what is happening is that, in the absence of using the right manual God has given us, women have found, a way to look for another wrong way of correcting the old wrong. So it's like two wrongs, okay? Using a wrong to correct another wrong, you're going to have a disaster. So the reason why divorce and marriage has become crisis inclined is because all of us, it's not because of civilization really, it's because of the fact that the women folk have woken up to the fact that they are no longer interested in being enslaved. You're educated, she's educated, she's got money. Yes, you got money. You in the days of our fathers, they used the wealth to oppress them. You have nowhere to go if you want to run where you run into. And so now the women have money, they have education, they can be independent. And so they use those new contemporary freedom and rights that is propounded even by organizations, worldwide organizations, to, in a sense, to protect women. Okay, and then it is used to fight the old system, the traditional old system. And so what you have is you're using a wrong principle to fight an old wrong principle. What you have is a conflagration. And that's the reason why marriages are breaking up in larger numbers today. So the rights, the realization of the old error is not replaced by a better way. It is replaced by a rebellion that is not based on right principles. And so traditionally, because women were not rising up to their own rights and the men were, oppressing them, guess what happened? Marriages were not breaking because, not because the women liked what was happening, but because it was allowed in society. It is okay for the husband to beat the wife. It is a measure of, it's a means of correcting the wife. Traditionally, it is not wrong. You find elderly women telling their female children, getting married, to relax and accept all oddities that are thrown at them. Why? Because men are by nature domineering and they are hunters, and so cheating is allowed. So the women cannot cheat, but the men can cheat. Have you not found in many traditions that when the woman, commits adultery, the gods of a land, the gods of a land deals with her, but when the man not married to, not officially married to somebody else, can have concubines, and the gods of a land have nothing to do with that. So it does appear as if the gods of the land is in support, is pro men and anti women. Now it is the rising up of a woman in today's contemporary society, that has made the situation worse. So where is the right foundation? The right foundation is in God. Okay, the right foundation is in God. So you must find out. You must find out what is God's prescribed foundational requirement for marriage. So number one, you find out what the purpose of marriage is, and I have mentioned briefly to you. Marriage is an institution created by God for the purpose of companionship, sharing of values, and cross-pollination of ideas, that the male man be supported by the male female woman. Okay, if you don't understand that, let me break that down. God created them male and female. He created man. So man in the context of humanity, and then he separated them male and female. Okay, the male human and the female human. Now the male human was created first, and the male and the female human was created to be complementary to the male human. Okay, so there is a structure. The male man is the head, is a role. The female human is a helpmate. It is also a role. It is not a position. Okay, they have, in other words, before God, equality, but in the playing of their role, one is subordinating to the other, one is a follower, the other is a leader. Now, because of the crisis of the old tradition where the man dominates the woman, today's woman is angry with the fact that the man is the head. is rebellious to that fact, without understanding that the head is a role, the helpmate is a role. It is not a position. Before God, we are all equal. But in order for the marriage institution to work well, we have got our roles and our responsibilities cut out for us. If we play it, the man is meant to love the wife the way Christ loves him and gave his life for him. The woman is supposed to submit to the husband as if she's submitting to Christ, not based on performance. Also, the woman shouldn't say because the man has not performed this loving role, she is not going to be submissive. I hear statements like, if you want your wife to be submissive to you, then you must love her. No, that is wrong. Okay? You don't have to wait. The woman does not have to wait for the man to love her. The man does not have to wait for the woman to submit to her. So if the two persons play their role rightly, they will enjoy marital bliss. But that role cannot be played in isolation of a connection, a relationship with the one who created the institution. Because if there is no understanding of the principles that make the marriage work from the word of God, it is not possible to live the principle based life in the marriage if there is no relationship with the person who created the marriage institution. So the first thing is your relationship with God. Now, if you do not have a relationship with God that is fluid, that is result oriented, that is superlatively right on target, then it is not possible for you to love your wife or for you to submit to your husband. You cannot obey an injunction that you are not able to connect with the person who actually gave that injunction. Okay, William Ulosiri says, I want to believe marriage originally was instituted primarily to provide comfort and companionship for man, male and female, and each has a role to play to make the home habitable for couples and incoming children. You're very right. It's a Siri Ulo Uliang. You are very correct. So you have understood the concept of what I'm talking about. So if that foundation is not understood from the knowledge level before going into the marriage institution, you will be going into something you do not understand. You'll be going into marriage on the basis of my mates are getting married. I am of age. I want to get married. It is time. I want to get married. My mates, I want to have children. I want to get married. I want to begin to have legal sex. I want to get married. And so, if you marry on the basis of any of these and not on the basis of the fact that you have a purpose to fulfill and you need a partner that will complement that purpose, you will be on a path towards disaster. Now, when you have understood this primary basic idea of what marriage is, then you go on to understand who should I marry? Who should I marry? Now, if you're already married and you are already in a relationship heading towards marriage, now this can help you. If you're already married, don't seek to disengage on the basis of, okay, I didn't marry the right person. Two of you can begin to sit together and agree on the basics and go back to the basics. You have already committed to each other to be husband and wife, okay? So you didn't commit on the basis of knowledge in the first place. So why don't you take a lesson, a class, start a school on how to be able to connect on the basis of purpose and then build your relationship that way from that platform. If you're already in a relationship, this can help you to position your relationship aright such that you do not continue in the relationship if you know for sure that it is not what is desirable for you. Okay, so after knowing the reason for marriage, the next is, who should I marry? Okay, who should I be connected with? Okay, you cannot marry someone that is not on the same purpose lane with you. There are certain key things you must check. before you get married. So the idea of getting married because the person is tall, dark, and handsome, or tall, fair, and busty, and has got good curves, it is not, you don't marry a woman on the basis of hips, lips, and curves. You don't marry a man because of his height. You marry a man because of what he carries and his capacity to be able to lead you aright. You marry a woman because of who she is on the inside. And if her, direction in life, if she has understood herself enough to know where she's going and had the journey she's has already undertaking is on the same lane with yours, that way you can be complementing each other. Okay? And you do that through understanding the person. You don't understand person by checking out their bodies. You understand somebody by checking out the content of their minds. Okay? And so people start relationship on the body level. How good the body is, how good the sex is, and then you do not, then they later check out the character. By the time they are checking out the character of a person, their bodies are already entangled, their emotions are already entangled. It becomes, they're already known to people that they are dating, they are heading for the altar, and at that point they find out that their characters are on different lanes, and trouble begins to brew. Sometimes people don't know about these character deficiencies until they are inside the marriage and they say things like, I didn't know that you're like this. Yes, because you started by exploring the body and checking out the container before checking out the content. That is how most marriages start, on faulty grounds. May I suggest to you that even if you made a mistake in becoming entangled with someone to the point where the person becomes, pregnant, or you guys are already going to have a baby together, if you're not meant to be married in terms of character, not aligning, please don't marry. You don't marry someone because they have a baby for you. You don't marry someone because you have a baby with a guy. All right? That is the traditional way. You got someone pregnant, you must marry the person. Okay? Suppose you're not on the same purpose lane with the person. But if you're already married, no, you just have to work out what you have already committed yourself into. So some of the things I've discussed this evening are solid foundations that you need to begin to build. All right. The first is an understanding of what marriage is about and the reason why it is constituted by God. The second is understanding who you are and the journey you're taking and where you're going, so that in your choice of a partner, it is in line with where you are going. And I did mention very seriously too that it is not possible for you, it is not possible for you to have successful, blissful, God-based marriage without having a relationship with the God and the Lord who instituted the institution, all right, of marriage. It is not possible. So all of that has to be in play. And then when you have decided this is the person I want to get married to, it is not automatic that everything will go smoothly. You need to begin to smoothen the rough edges through your relationship by communicating and agreeing on critical things. And I have always mentioned, if you have listened to my broadcasts and my talk teachings and you have read my books on relationship and marriage, you must have heard me say things like there are critical things you need to agree on before you get married. Number one is your faith. You have to agree on your faith. Okay? Are you guys of the same faith? And if you're not of the same faith, you can trust me that you're going to have issues, because religion is a touchy issue. And then you should agree on your finances. What are your financial goals? Can we agree on where we are heading? How do we want to live our life? What is our lifestyle? And what is the vision that we want to create for the family? Where are we going? And this finance includes the work that you do, the business that you want to start up together. You agree on how you will spend the monies that you're earning and how you will support your families, extended families, and then you agree on your children, the number of children you want to have, and you agree on, you must be in agreement on sexual matters. There are people who are not sexually, who are very sexually active, and there are those who are hyperactive. Can you agree on it? Because it can also be a touchy issue, and you need to know these ahead of time. There are these four areas. Nobody should go into marriage and be shocked. I didn't know anything about this. You should talk about this. And that's why the early part of your relationship should be about talking and talking and talking. A lot of people spend their time in the early part of their relationship investing in emotional highs, touching and touching and touching, rather than talking and talking and talking. When you talk, you explore what is in the mind. When you touch, you explore the body, which is more desirable. And it is in investing, on emotional highs and not investing in discussions that seek to explore the mind that lays the wrong foundation for marriage, for relationship that leads to marriage. I hope this has been a blessing to a lot of us tonight. And I'd like to sign off on this note that if you're in the city of Kano, it means that we're in the same city, we're breathing the same air. All right. And you seek a place of worship. I am also a spiritual leader besides being a relationship coach. All right. And so I am the senior pastor of the Living Hope International Christian Center here in Kano. This Sunday, which is the last day of the month of October, I want to invite you specially to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you do not have a home church, please join me on Sunday morning. Don't sit at home on Sunday morning. Don't lounge at home on Sunday morning. It is a day of connecting with your Maker so that you are refreshed, equipped, energized, and empowered for the new week. Oh, there is power in fellowship, so much power in the gathering of the saints together. And so I am encouraging you, I am inviting you, I am asking you to join me this Sunday at the Living Hope International Christian Center. Our service time is at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Nigerian time. I'd like for you to join us. And this Sunday, we will be concluding our sermon series on the subject of the power of love. Okay, the power of love, and it's right there on your screen. And the subject matter we will be looking at this Sunday is titled "Love Manifesting Perfection." This Sunday on 31st October 2021, 9 a.m. The address is on the screen. I don't know if it's clear right now. If you can see right now what you have on the screen, and that's the banner. I like for you to, take advantage of our absolutely wholesome time at Living Hope Christian Center every service day. And so I will be looking forward to seeing you this Sunday morning, and it will be an exciting thing to have you with us. I have been so excited sharing this evening with you. We'll take a comment. I think we'll still have one comment from one of our viewers. Okay, it's Ulosiri. He says, I have a question. When people get into marriage through a wrong perception and in the course of a marriage, one or both discover that they are parallel in all aspects of life and purpose, should they continue because children are involved? Would it be considered sacrifice while inwardly they know that the two different individuals are not okay? They are not in sync. Would it amount to being weak-minded if one chooses to be bold to walk out, knowing fully well that being in such a relationship would amount to um, a redundant. Okay, that's not complete. Something is missing. Well, I guess he's trying to say being in such a relationship will amount to a redundant purpose. Okay, that's the question. Let me attempt to answer this question. When I was talking about the concept of, preparation, right foundation, I did one that for some people they're already in this marriage game before realizing that the person they got married to is not the right fit for them, or they didn't understand the concept of marriage before they got into it, and then it has become uh, uh, a situation where the two persons have parallel ideas of life. They are not simply in agreement on any ground, and the question is, should we continue? The first answer is, can the two persons really admit that they have a problem with cohabiting or reliving as married persons? If they know that there is a problem and they are not happy with the fact that they are married and they are living like strangers, now that's a beginning. Okay, if the two persons agree that this is bad, this is not good, and we need to do something about it, they're both not happy, then it is easy for them to seek for help. Okay, now it is more dangerous and difficult to handle when one person knows that there's a problem, the other person is saying, what the heck, why is this person, we are fine the way we are, and this is normal. For in fact, there are some people who thrive with being in consistent uh, troubled waters. I remember a lady telling me one time that, Godwin, you are not fun to be with. You're too boring. There are no dramas around you. You're just too normal. You're too good. I don't want people who are too good. I just want a level of drama every now and then. There are people like that. And so if you're dealing with somebody like that who does not even see that there is a problem, and you know that you guys are not in agreement, you know that there is a whole lot that has to be done. And at that point, um, mere conversations will not cut it, because the other person will not even understand the fact that, what you're saying means anything. Okay. I know the aspect of prayers. Okay. But you see, you cannot borrow somebody faith. You cannot force a lifestyle on someone. Okay. So you can only pray and trust God that the person understands what you are saying. But there is a place of wisdom in order to preserve your sanity, your sanctity, your vision, your purpose. Okay? And so the Bible says about anything that will keep you away from eternity, that will keep you away from heaven, you should cut it off. Okay? Now, it may not be referring directly to marriage, but if a relationship or a marriage is going to lead you away from your purpose, instead of adding, it is taking away from you. and it becomes a situation where your life is at risk, or your purpose is at risk, or the children are at risk, can you, for sanity's sake and for God's sake, get out of that place for a while? We're not saying divorce, no. Just create a space between the two. And maybe that person will understand when the person knows that, you have taken this so serious that this is not the way to go. Just take a break. Although I've seen people die in the name of trying to preserve the marriage. Now, what makes a marriage work is the people. Now, we are trying to save the marriage without saving the people. There is no marriage without the people in the marriage. And so, a lot of people, especially those of us in the clergy council, we don't want to tell the people that you should get out of that house. Why? Because it looks like you're encouraging separation or divorce. No. Divorce is actually the last resort. And divorce was created as a solution to a problem. Divorce is not the problem. The problem is a bad foundation. Okay? So, but before we apply these ultimate results, ultimate last resort, we must be seen to have done all we needed to do, including staying apart for a while. And sometimes when people stay apart for a while, they begin to see the value in the other. They begin to see the value in what the other person is saying. Okay? So there is nothing like, okay, stay there till you die. I don't support divorce. I am not a campaigner for divorce, but I know that stuff happens. I also know that I don't support domestic violence. I don't support killing each other in the name of staying together. Okay? So, and that's why civil authorities also exist apart from spiritual authorities. Okay? Most people who go to marriage registry to go marry, it does appear they don't read the provisions. There are certain things that you do, it invalidates the marriage. And if you marry on the basis of the law of the land, there are some things that you do that it invalidates the marriage completely. Okay? And so if you want to argue on the basis of the Lord hates divorce, I want to tell you also that the Lord hates domestic violence. The Lord hates a situation where there is no direction. He hates a situation where you are in a home but there is no peace. That's not to the glory of God. Amos 3:3 says, the two shall not work together except they be agreed. And so sometimes it boils down to what the individual is facing and the individual's relationship with God. And then, like in the case of this question by John Siri Ulo, there has to be counseling, one-on-one counseling with a spiritual leader, with a marriage counselor. And so that there is no one size fits all for every challenge that we have with respect to when two persons cannot agree in the marriage situation. And so I hope this helps answer this question. It may not be exhaustive, but I believe it has opened the person's eyes to the fact that there is always a solution for every problem. Well, I want to draw the curtain on the program tonight. It's been a beautiful time of sharing on this subject matter, solid foundation for relationship towards marriage. You can reach me on 00945570001. It's right there on your screen. It's a WhatsApp. Let's engage. You have issues that you want us to trash out, one-on-one counseling. I'm available on schedule, on appointment. We can talk, we can share, we can, cross-pollinate ideas on any area you would need counseling on. Until I come your way again with a fresh broadcast in the new week, I remain yours sincerely, Oguche Godwin, and I'm leaving you with this video to have a beautiful time. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and stay out of trouble.